We're live.
All right.
So I'm going to let you roll since you've got a lot of information and people were really interested in what you had to hear about the new business. Yeah, we're kid friendly here, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah, keep noisy. Okay, so Bullet Bouquets had a great start, and since we did that the last or the first video, um, yeah, I think that was even before Father's Day. So we had a good Father's Day, and
Okay.
then things slow down a little bit in the summertime, which apparently is just what happens in the gun industry. That I thought that people would continue buying ammo throughout the summer and continue buying guns and things, but pretty much across the board, they don't even sell ammunition in the summertime. Not nearly as much as in the winter, which seems strange, but it's one of those things that, as a consumer, you think that all other consumers are stupid. And so you think, hey, I'm smart, I'm doing the right thing, I'm stocking up in the wintertime.
Right.
This seems to be a case of, no, really everybody is stocking up in the wintertime, and everybody is doing this a little bit smart, stocking up when it's cheap, I guess. And so no, they don't sell much in the summertime. So Bullet Bouquets slowed down a bit, and gave me some time to get working on some other projects. Actually, streamline the business as it was, and be able to get enough free time for myself to get going on these other projects. And well, the biggest thing, and maybe this was the biggest leap of faith that I had, other than the leap of faith of quitting my day job, was buying this laser engraving machine.
I remember when you told me you were getting it. That was a chunk of change.
It was, and I got it used, and it's still an incredibly expensive piece of machinery. It, I guess, so the 3D printers have really come down in price. They're on the order of, I mean, you can get a good 3D printer for $5,000, brand new these days. But I think what's going on is they follow the Gillette model, which is lose money on the razor and then make your money on all the refills. And so 3D printers, that's where they make all their money, is in the materials that make the 3D stuff. So you get a good deal on the printer, and then you get screwed over for years on the cartridges, on the refill.
Like the printers. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yep. So 3D printers, or 3D printers run on that model. Laser engraving machines don't. They're incredibly expensive, and you don't pay for anything after you've bought the machine. So the price is it's an accurate price, and it's exorbitant. But here we go. I dropped a good chunk of change on it, and it's been amazing, the opportunities that it's provided for the business. There were a couple of businesses that found me and wanted me to custom laser etch flower pots for them, and then ended up ordering a whole ton of the things, and that ended up getting me through the summer just fine. The thing is that the laser really revitalized things, because you can put anything on the flower pots. Let me see if I've got some around here.
Because I was on your website and I was looking at the things, because you were getting really creative. I will say that for most people, the summer is usually slow. For a lot of businesses, some businesses, there's a peak season, but that's normal. I got a friend that owns a consignment shop, and she calls it the dangerous J's, January, June, and July. And those are typically her slow months, and they have been like for a decade. And for me, June, July, and August can be slow, except this year I did a lot of stuff. So that's a really good thing to note, because it may happen next year, it may not. But since you've got more stuff going, because you're going to tell us, I think that's just really cool to keep pushing your business.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I guess it may be a little bit of inexperience for me, but I kind of doubt it. I feel like the nerves that I have, sort of, man, I'm going to be looking for a job again if I don't get back on this and start really making good money again. That sort of stuff, I think it's healthy, and I almost don't want it to go away. If I was complacent and just said, oh, the income's going to come back, it's just slow right now, I don't have a lot of data to say that it's going to come back, but it will, I just trust it. That seems a lot scarier to me. I think I would much rather have the fire and just be nervous.
Oh, it never goes away. It never goes away. It never goes away.
Oh, thanks. I was thinking that after, well, you had mentioned something to me that I love the way that you're able to just spell things out. Just say, oh, well, yeah, it's great you're diversifying. You should have five types of income, 5 different income streams, so that you're nicely diversified. And that's like, no, that was great. And I'm glad you said that, because I was like, maybe I'm not making a mistake by focusing on these other ideas and letting bullet bouquets sort of I guess I wouldn't say idle, but just not pushing the product, not as actively going out there looking for sales. And I guess there's always time to go back and build things, but I guess I just felt like I need to get diversified sooner rather than later. And with that laser engraver, it was like, well, and the other thing was, you were kind of the impetus on the reflection-y business. In the original interview, you had mentioned the mirror on the wall behind my head, and I said, yeah, I always thought that'd be a good business idea, but maybe someday. And once I got the laser engraving machine, it's what made it completely possible. And I went from a someday sort of thing to, I could do this week. I could get right on it. Right. And so now the Reflection-y is the name of the business. It's kind of the word reflection and memory stuck together, Reflection-y, and it's going to grow. I'm pretty sure it's going to grow slower than bullet bouquets, but I guess that's fine with me. I'm all right with it growing a little more naturally rather than exploding in my face.
Yeah, I saw the one on your Facebook page, on the company Facebook page. It looked like a wedding picture that y'all had made, which was really cool, because the thing with that kind of product, the price is really, really malleable. That's not something, when you're talking about, like, your baby pictures, I don't know where y'all have them made, but they could be $300, $400, $500, and people really just like, well, it's expensive, but we'll get the money because they're baby pictures. It's a memorial. Mm-hmm. And that's what I see those things as, because also the wonderful word of custom. Custom is just it separates you from the pack. And I think you're going to come up with some more uses for that laser, because that's a badass piece of equipment to have. I mean, seriously. I mean, you can play it out. I got a laser at home.
Yeah. I can. It's like, people keep telling me, hey, your daughter is going to have the most fun time growing up with these toys. And she's the people are totally right. I mean, it won't be long, and pretty much everything in this house is going to be laser etched in some way. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a moneymaker. And so here, if you can see, there we go. There's that's exactly what the customization you can do. Here's the Hustler's Mindset, or Glendon Cameron's. I'm not sure what you do with this logo. It's cool. I grabbed it off Facebook and stuck it on a pen.
I made that logo because I needed something, because I used to have that look, and I just wear this now. And I'm supposed to wear glasses, but I convinced myself I can see without them. And I just put that together because that's like really cool, because when you showed it to me, I was like, oh my goodness. I already see where there's going to be people who are going to want that. I already see it.
Yeah.
I already know in the group.
And with these pens, they've been out maybe not even 2 weeks. I dropped them sometime, about a week ago, and the interest has been it's on the order of the bullet bouquets flower pots. I mean, I don't have Reddit exploding behind me, and I don't have this huge viral sort of surge underneath of it, but people are excited about these, and it's exactly that. It's the word custom. It's the ability to make something unique for each customer, and they love it. And so the two businesses I've approached already with the pens, I've just walked in and said, hey, you guys want some of these with your logo on it? Let's talk. And they both like, yep, we're in. Let's do it. Get us a prototype, and we'll buy a bunch. They see it as a they're not so cheap that you can hand them out like business cards, but if you're at a trade show and you have a really important client, you give them one of those pens, and it's something to remember. Remember the interaction by. So let's see what else. Oh, I might as well show, yeah, this thing here as well. This and again, this is, I don't know if you can read that. Can you see it?
Oh, I can see it very
Okay.
well.
The text down here and everything. Okay, yeah.
Really nice.
And it's amazing just how things work. But
oh no, I mean, I went through something similar because, you got the Hustler Mindset Project, right? Well, I got take the YouTube channel. There's a lot of people on there who are in the beginning stages of their business thing. And I had products that were designed for people who were well in their business, because whenever I sold them, the people who had businesses did really well, and the people who didn't, they really needed way more attention. So I created hustlerskungfu.com for the short courses, for the quick hustle courses, how to use Craigslist and stuff like that. So it is what just started off as a catchphrase in the video has turned into another company.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. What you're talking about, that's what my summer's been like. And typically the summer's usually slow, but since I was doing that, this is the best summer I've had since the storage auction days.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, but see, that's the thing. I was reading this article, when the company makes most of its money when it first opens and when it closes, because when it opens, you're just pushing. You don't know the summer's supposed to be slow. You're just selling. You like I said, you're walking in, you're introducing your stuff to people. And I will tell you, the hustlerkungfu.com shocked the shit out of me. It really did. I mean, it's 30 days to 2,500. That product did well. This one crushed that in sales. And I really didn't. I pushed it, but I didn't push it like I pushed 30 days to 2,500. And also, it was a really good deal. But that's kind of the things you get to do when you have freedom of opinion and choice and time. I mean, because like I said, that laser, I mean, how big is that thing? Because I'm really curious. Is it like, how does that whole thing with the laser work?
It would sit on your average desk. It's the bed on the inside is 24 inches by 12 inches. So you could put something 2 feet by 1 foot in there. So it's it's like a good sized dorm fridge laying on its side. If that makes sense.
Okay. So this is something you could literally put in your car and just haul around if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not too huge. You slap. Thing is, I guess I feel like I'm late to that party. That the big push with laser engraving machines and the engraving industry adopting that technology versus the old mechanical scoring stuff. Engravers, there's still a place for that, but the laser engravers it's so much more versatile than the mechanical stuff could ever be. And essentially, you throw almost anything in there and it will mark it in some way. Like we were putting switch plate covers in the house, doing a little baby proofing, and the switch plate cover with the we have one that has a light above the sink, and that also and the switch there also, or the other switch does the garbage disposal. And so those are the kind of switches you don't want to get mixed up. And when we put the cover on there, you couldn't really tell which was which. And And so I went out and I built a little laser project, and we laser etched the switch plate cover to show that the one was the garbage disposal, the other one was the light switch. But and yeah, it goes to show you that just if you just keep your eyes open and you keep looking for these interesting uses for the new tools that you have, you can continually, I guess, find new ways of doing things. I mean, I don't think that there's a business in etching custom switch plate covers for people. Maybe there is. I mean, you think about, I mean, just those laser engravers they're just flat out amazing. They're just, like I said, I feel like I was late to the party because they've already been adopted, but at the same time, it's like left and right, I'm finding awesome uses for it that maybe nobody's ever really thought of before. There's another use. I can't really say anything about it. I'm still kind of keeping it a secret, but it's just this wacky. I can't believe you did that, and maybe I shouldn't say much more. But
well, I was going to say, I was watching this podcast, and this lady made a very good point that I observed years ago. You can have two people selling the exact same thing, and one is really better than the other. But the thing is, one is better positioned, and the one that's better positioned is going to make more money, even though the other one is better in terms of being competent. And I mean, that's the story of my first book. I mean, I made so many mistakes, it was ridiculous. Everything you could do wrong, I did it wrong. And I still made more money than a friend of mine who got a book deal, did everything right. Book was professionally edited, all of this stuff, spent 2 years on it. And I mean, I'll tell you, I made $62,000 the first 11 months. She got $8,000 after it was all said and done.
Wow.
And her book was way better than mine. It was way better than mine, but I was positioned and she wasn't. And that's when I say that to you is you are positioned, because if you just keep everything niched, okay, you have bullet bouquets, you have this nifty pen. If you could just, I mean, I don't have my Glock on my desk, but what I've seen is the firearms crowd is a very loyal and passionate crowd. So I mean, you go out and do a special Beretta, because the thing, I don't know if you ever seen like what they do with Glocks when they put the new scopes on. I've seen regular Glocks tricked out to, the Glock was $700, but once they finish tricking it out, it's like $2,000. So you just keep it gun related. I think you'll be fine. I mean, there's so many uses with that. I mean, if you can go find some World War II 50 cal shells and do something with that. I mean, you could do trench art. That would be a good fit with your brand, because because I don't know if you noticed with the channel, I have switched everything because I'm not doing any more stories on the channel. Everything is business related, how to start a business. And since I started that positioning, a lot of really good things have happened, because I'm not over here. Like, I may bring the stories back, but that'll be a separate channel. I wouldn't do them on this channel anymore. That's over. Mm-hmm. Because it was destroying the message. I mean, it's like he's telling stories, he's doing this, he's doing this, he's doing this. But when I just like business, I started getting all kinds of opportunities. It was sick.
Interesting. One thing that I feel like I stumbled on with bullet bouquets that I didn't really know was wise, and maybe the jury's still out on it, on whether it's really wise or not, but bullet bouquets, we built prototypes and sold them, and really almost had none of the details worked out on how to build a business, on how to make these things efficiently and quickly and make good money on them and satisfy demand if demand went and skyrocketed. We didn't have any of this stuff worked out. We didn't have a business plan. We didn't have, I mean, it was totally seat of the pants. And that was almost, I mean, it really was because of basically an accident, and because I was trying to build it as fast as possible in just 3 days. Well, with Reflectioning, I had enough time to really sit down and try to work things out ahead of time, and sit and figure out, okay, this is going to be the system for for building these, and then you just essentially work out the details of the machine that is your business ahead of time before the orders start coming in. And I did that to a certain extent, and then I figured, let's just go for it. I know I'm not ready. Bullet bouquets was fine when we basically were caught with our pants down, with no product, or with not enough product to ship, and just playing catch up for a little while. I think you're better off getting after it right away than sitting there and ironing out detail after detail after detail and saying, no, it's just not ready yet. Let's get these final touches on the website. Let's do this and that. I feel like there's a lot of wisdom in just going out and doing it, just getting those sales, even though you don't have a perfect product, you don't have a perfect system. And I don't know how that relates to what you've done. If you have really pounded into something and then the customers are there and you're like, oh crap, what am I going to do?
No. Let me tell you what I do. I have pissed off so many people because I do. You're not a software engineer. You're a mechanical engineer by trade, right?
Software was my job. Mechanical is my degree.
Okay. I knew it was something like that. All right. Well, you may get this. I do what I call container testing, like my email list. I've segmented my email list, and then I have one section, the biggest section, that I use for testing because I just want to gauge response. Every time I send an email, 10, 20, 30 people say just unsubscribe. But I go by what I call the 50% variable. If I got something that's 50% ready, I put it out there. And then as the flames are licking the wings on the way down, I start, building and figuring out what to do. I have tested out 42 products this year, and most of them didn't go anywhere, but the ones that did, they stick around and I can sell them for years and years. So that's why I started laughing when you start saying go for it. I was like, he has no idea. I do this all the time. I mean, people are like, what the hell are you doing? Is this ready? And then I'll put something out, right, as a test. Then 3 months later, someone's like, hey, where can I get that? I was like, oh, it's gone. It's gone. We're not doing that anymore. And they're like, what? All the time.
So yet again, you have like an awesome rule of thumb for what I can't really describe. It takes me a long time to say it, and you just say, oh, well, I have this 50% rule. And that's exactly
because this is what I've seen in my space. I've been here on YouTube. This is my 7th year. Mm-hmm. It used to change 12, 18 months. Then it went down to 12 months. Now it went down to 9 months. Change is happening 3 to 6 months. So say I'm doing something or there's a feature or something I can use. If I don't go for it, and I may not have the opportunity to do that thing later because everything's going to change. I mean, like right now, I'll just tell you, YouTube advertising is way cheaper, and in my opinion, for me, it's more effective than Facebook advertising. But everybody's at Facebook, so since they're over there and they haven't quite figured out that this is where the better deal is, I'm losing my mind over here because I know it's going to change at some point. Once people figure it out, then it's going to go up in cost and the price is going to change. But for right now, because I talk to people who are doing Facebook advertising, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. Now you'll get sales. It's effective. It's very effective, but you will also spend a lot. I mean, I know people spending, $2,000-3,000 a week. Some people spend $1,000 a day. And this is where the old school business comes in. That kind of spending isn't sustainable because those variables are not going to stay the same. Something's going to change to influence how that spending is. And the big variable is Facebook is going to jack up the rate. That's what I see. And then you're going to spend more for less. And at that point, it's going to be really unsustainable. So maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot because I'm not messing with it. I've played around with it. But a big reason that hustlerkungfu.com works so well is because of YouTube marketing. I mean, I'm going to wash and rinse and repeat it for next month and see if it happens again, if it's a repeatable event. But you can't wait. I mean, if you look at it, because I remember when you sent me the message that you were getting this, it was crazy expensive. It's like, well, we're just going to do it. And it forces you to use parts of your brain that you normally don't use. Because see, chaos, the part that handles chaos and trauma, that part's really creative. And sometimes you have to stroke it, because I will tell you, I made a big mistake in 2012, and I didn't earn any money from January to June. I mean, money was coming in, but I had no profits because I had an assistant that was paying like $2,500 a month. We're doing a lot of social media stuff, and all that money was just none of it was for me, because I made a really, really bad error because I believed the whole social media myth. And then I went back to doing what I was doing, and then things got they leveled out. But you gotta go for it. I really think that, especially using the internet, the leverage factor is so sick that you can just kind of do like that. In the big end, trees are falling down. I mean, that's the kind of leverage the internet has. And I know of nothing else that moves stuff like this.
Yeah. Yep. But you said it again there. I'm just amazed. You just have these ways of putting things that are they just turn on lights and they make so much sense. But living your life slightly in that chaos realm, you're absolutely right. That is where creativity can come from.
Oh yeah, you get real creative when you get hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, not to go sideways, but one of the big reasons that a lot of poor people steal is they're hungry. I mean, it's wrong and they shouldn't do it, but people get really, really creative when they're pressed. And you see like trench art, like the soldiers that I mentioned earlier. Some of those guys made some amazing stuff, and they had literally bombs and bullets flying around them. And they just did that, I don't know, as a memorial to calm their minds, but extremely creative in the middle of a battlefield. And what we're doing, this internet thing, like you start a company. What is it now? How many months is your company? How old is your company now?
Bulba Case is about 6 months. Yeah.
6 months. And you've already brought in something else, because this is something that I'm starting to see, because this is something I've done. I don't really have one main source of income. To me, that's scary, because I've got, when I used to have jobs long time ago, I got laid off 3 times in 18 months, and it kind of scarred me. So since then, I've never just had one source of income. When I was working jobs, it was always 2 jobs or something. It's the leverage factor. Like, let's take your case. You already have employees, you already have infrastructure, you've got the one main product, you've got this laser that can, you could just start testing products, because you ever go in the convenience store and you see all that bullshit, right? And it sells year after year. Someone's buying it.
Yeah.
It's not exciting, it's not earth shattering, but someone's buying that stuff because it's always in there. And you go to any convenience store and you see the same stuff over and over and over again.
Yep.
So you can create a product that maybe it's exciting, maybe it's not exciting, maybe it's utility, and because that's where you make. I'll tell you, when we had the storage auction business, where most of our income came from? Dollar items. We had 4,000 square feet in the warehouse. Everything was $1 in that section. Clothes, microwaves. We paid the rent out of that section because it consistently brought people in. So you just got a lot of potential and opportunities. This is really exciting for me to see, because you are proving something that I've been saying for a long time, and people want to push back, because eBay and Amazon, okay, they're great for you in the beginning, but you're not going to become a millionaire doing eBay and Amazon. You may have a few million in sales, but million in assets, or building a company that you can sell, or building something that you can leave to your kids, that's not happening with those 2 platforms. It's just not. But what you're building, and let's just say you do the Waffle House method. Say you take 30 years to build this business. You manage your debt. You never get in a bunch of debt, and you just acquire customers over a few decades. And by the time your daughter is 30, it's worth, 5, 10, 15, 20 million. That can happen with your business. That cannot happen with eBay and Amazon. It just can't. And also, you get to control that growth. And that's something a lot of people don't talk about, because we get all stuck up in the internet world of push. But if you grow your company, say your company does 100,000, and after taxes, and you got a good accountant, you make 70, 80, and you grow 5, 10% a year. That's incredible because most people can't do that. You can't do that with a job.
Nope.
You can't. And then this thing with the custom orders, because if you look at it, you've got bullet bouquets, you've got the firing pins, maybe a suite of 12 different products that sell very, all, in month out. Then, you do these custom orders, and then you bring in another business. So you got three or four streams of income.
Yep.
I just see a lot of people doing that because to me, it's more fun and it's just not as dangerous as having that one stream income. That's just really dangerous, even for companies now. You look at Google. Google, I don't know how many streams of income Google has, because when you look at their corporate structure, there's Google this, Google Ireland, Google. There's a ton of companies within that company.
Yeah, they just restructured so that it would make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, Alphabet, and I'm just like, you know what that is? That's a tax efficiency move. That's what that is. Guarantee you the main corporate, I hadn't looked into that, but I guarantee you the main corporate entity is offshore. I'm willing to bet you big money, because like if you do a corporation in Hong Kong and you have an internet company and you domain over there and you sell around the world, you only pay 14% Hong Kong taxes. Now, as an American, you're supposed to report all your income wherever you make it in the world. Just saying, but I'm quite sure there's somebody that's done that and probably is not reporting.
Yep.
So you've got all kinds of stuff. But no, I'm really excited for what you're doing, because if you look at it, you ain't been in this in 6 months. Can you imagine this time next year, all of the experience and stories you'll have?
Yeah. I look at my mom's business, and she's been doing it. She's been a stained glass and well, just all flavors of glass artist for 30 years now, and I can't even fathom where I'll be 30 years from now. It's like it's amazing to think about that we've come this far so quickly. So you're right. You keep on increasing 5-10% each year. You come up with new products. You keep innovating. Keep building that fan base, those true fans that'll basically buy one of anything that you offer.
Right.
Keep building that, and it will continue to grow. Sometimes it'll grow really quickly, and sometimes it'll be more organically. But another thing that hit me this last week that was kind of an epiphany was somebody said, "Hey, okay, the text on your pens. Let's see here. You probably can't really see this. This is a logo for a company that I'm building this for. So if on this pen, you would have to write with it. If you're right-handed, you can write with it, and you can see the text. You can read it, and you do this. But what about those left-handed people that they pick up the pen in their left hand and the text is upside down? And my first reaction was, well, screw those guys. They're left-handed. Why should I? Because if you look about it from an operations standpoint, if I have 20 different pen designs, and now I want to make a left-handed version of all 20 of those, I've just now doubled the complexity of the pen making operation. And I thought, wait a minute, I need to pull my head out of my ass. That I am doing custom stuff. How many true fans can I get that are left-handed people? If they pick up, if there's a little checkbox on the website when you go selecting your design to build your pen, you check, I want this one left-handed because I'm left-handed. Those people are going to love that. And it hit me. It hit me that no, I do custom stuff. That is the nature of this business to some degree, and the idea is to make the business fast enough on its feet with this large number of different types of pens that we will make, and that the innovation is something I'm doing better than everybody else is that it's organized. That I have one employee that can take these orders and go, okay, we need a left-handed such and such design that's copper or brass text on a black pen and just build it. That I've created a system that's simple enough for pretty much any employee to be able to be trained to build those sorts of things. And I know the customer is going to be that much happier because of that. Yeah, I guess the realization was, yeah, it was like wake up and smell the coffee. You are a custom shop. That is what you do. So embrace it. Don't try to fight that. Go ahead and just make it as efficient as possible to do these crazy amounts of customization.
Some you just said just rained money. That's the Waffle House thing. They've got a system where anybody can come in and plug into the system that exists and operate good to possibly at a high level of efficiency, but they can come in and contribute. And that's one of the things that messes up. Because see, this is where your logic is going to come into place, because you're 6 months old and you already have standard operating procedures. Mm-hmm. I know of companies 3, 4, 5, 10 years old, they don't have that. They just wing it every time someone comes in. They have to retrain them from the bottom all the way up, just wasting a lot of time. So you're putting in standard procedures. So that will make it even easier for you to scale, because you could just like, okay, hey, welcome to Bullet Bouquet. And within a matter of hours or maybe a week, they're contributing and they're working and they're pulling their weight.
Right. And say the business grows to the point where I need 2 lasers. Mine is just absolutely maxed out, running all the time. I need to get another one. It scales. It completely scales. You just hire more employees, train them. You can continue to build. Yeah, it's both sides of that. That you're not hamstrung if one employee leaves because they were the only one that knew how to do half your stuff. You have it all written down and all documented on how to do these procedures, and it's relatively easy to learn. So you aren't up the creek without a paddle when you lose that one really not even highly paid employee. If you're doing it right, I feel like your business would you're making the most out of these employees that you're not paying a whole lot. This girl I've got, I trained her. She'd never soldered before, and she has become over time an incredible solderer. She's really good at soldering, and the way that I've kept her really enthused, and I haven't been necessarily the best employer because I haven't had a ton of work over the summer. There's days where I just say, hey, I'm sorry, but I don't have anything for you tomorrow, and I've kept her interested and kept her, I guess, interested is a good enough term, by continuing to add new responsibilities and putting more on her plate and trusting her more and more with things. Now, that almost sounds contradictory with the whole don't put all your eggs in a minimum wager's basket. Because it would be tough for me to train somebody to solder the way she can solder. It has been, it's taken a while, but maybe part of that is a learning experience for me, that these new businesses, or at least the new products, the pens and Reflection-y as a whole, that the whole mural business is, it's designed to be built with cheap labor. The product.
Well, I mean, that's what the Build America. I mean, because a lot of people get mad at me, right, when I talk about the minimum wage thing, is you can't. If you pay everything that the company's making, the company will not exist, because people look at because another guy I'm bringing on, he talked about it in one of his videos where when he first started the company, he said the people that clean the toilets made more money than he did. And I've been through that myself, because everyone's like, oh, you're the owner. And then you look in your bank account and there's like 50 cents. And then they just got a check, for $300, and they're like not really happy because it's only $300, but you're just looking like, I just paid that $300 out 20 times and I have 50 cents. I would gladly exchange my 50 cents for your $300. But they don't see it because there's this presumption that when you're the owner, you're rolling. And in the beginning, no.
Well, if you've got and it sounds like you learned a lesson with that, with a personal assistant that was getting $2,500 a month.
She was good. It wasn't her. It was, I made a tactical error in putting too much effort into social media, and I drank the Kool-Aid and I swallowed it and I packed some up. And the thing is, it wasn't her, it was me. I had a really bad plan because I fully invested, spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and it didn't work. Then I went back to doing what I was doing, and boom, immediately the money started coming back in again. I was just like, this is crazy. But like my assistant now, I have an assistant now, she makes more, but she does way more. And you get to the point where, like trusting people with sensitive information, handling stuff. And I kind of like, you can handle these problems on your own. This is the template. Like if it's this dollar amount, you can handle it. Don't even contact me. These are your marching orders. Go on. And that's just been this huge load off of me. And I've gotten a lot of feedback. People really like the way that she communicates. And I've just, don't talk. We got a phone. That's like, don't talk to anyone on the phone. That's just going to create long conversations, and it's going to make your workday longer. Send them a text, be polite, and that's worked really, really well. Now, I wouldn't consider her lowly paid, but you couldn't, when you started, they're not partners, they're employees. And I think when you are coming from an employee space mentally, you want to be the good guy. You want to be equal. When you took the investment, your name's on all the documents, you're paying all the money. If the thing goes bust, you go under, they get another job. So there is no equality when you start really looking at the harsh reality of it. And in this economy, I don't care what the poll numbers say, there's a lot of people looking for jobs. There's a lot of people. And there are more people looking for jobs than there are people creating jobs. And I think you're a fair guy. You're a fair guy, you're above board. And I think she sees that. And also, you're doing something that I learned in the management class. Many people would work for less money if they had more responsibility and autonomy in what they did. So it's like, you do this. This is your ring. Do your thing. I'm not going to mess with you. There are people who crave to be able to go to work and work hard as they can if you just leave them alone. But the key is hiring someone competent in the beginning and just let them be. Many people are just afraid to start in the business. You don't really have to worry about that. It's like you could give her all the company secrets, everything, and it's just more likely she'll never start a business, ever.
Yep.
Well, we're here. Hold that thought. What I wanted to do, because as you're learning with your business and I'm learning with these hangouts, I wanted to keep them under an hour because people come in and watch, and a lot of people are watching stuff on their TV because I'm seeing that in analytics. But what I want to do is, because you got a lot of stuff, at some point just bring you back in the future because you like to share and contribute, because that's the natural Redditor into you, and we could just talk more, because I have a feeling in a few more months you're going to do some more stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Cool.
No, that sounds good.
All right. So I'm just say thanks for Anthony. I really appreciate you coming. And I will see you guys in the next session.